Hi everyone, my name is Val. I'm the founder and CEO of ExecWeb, and this is my YouTube channel. I'm trying to help fellow entrepreneurs learn how to bootstrap companies. Just as a reminder, while you're listening to me, I have started three companies. ExecWeb is my third company. All of them have been bootstrapped. I have also raised $1 million from angel investors in the past and have been actually in front of countless VCs. So I have that experience as well of fundraising from external investors, and I would not recommend it for 99% of companies, which is why I have decided to spend the rest of my life focused on bootstrapping companies and bootstrapping startups. Also, the way I like to call them, self-funding companies. So this video is about ideas on bootstrapping companies and startups. In other words, what I consider to be good ideas for companies that can be self-funded successfully. And obviously, it's very challenging to self-fund a company, but it's also extremely challenging to fundraise. So the one is not better than the other. And if you put them side to side and do the comparison for the founder, almost in no cases, with very, very, very few exceptions, self-funding a company is infinitely better as a financial outcome for the founder. That's statistically proven. Most founders who VC-backed companies actually don't make any money at all or make very little money once they exit just because they get diluted usually tremendously along the way. And unless that company becomes a unicorn, a multi-billion-dollar valuation and above, which let's face it, is very, very rare, less than 1% get there, or out of all the companies that get started, in most other cases, founders actually don't make any money or very little money. The VCs are always pretty well off, which is why I hate VCs, and I would never again even consider raising from VCs. So let's focus on self-funding a company. The first concept that everybody needs to understand here is that cash is king. Nothing else matters. So trying to do these very creative, disruptive ideas that many people and many famous startups founders talk about and what VCs push out there, it's an absolute and utter bullshit when it comes to actually starting your own company and being able to self-fund it. If you start with a disruptive idea, you have no option but to raise VC money because usually it takes hundreds of millions of dollars to create something unique and to change people's behavior to understand that this is actually viable. And that was the case with Uber and all the other very famous companies we know of. They had to spend hundreds of millions of dollars for people to understand that it's safe actually to take a car outside of a taxi and it's legitimate and you can just use an app to do it, right? So those are horrible ideas for self-funded companies and you should never consider them. Any kind of marketplace where you connect buyers and sellers and your business model is to take a percentage of the deal amount, which is how essentially Uber operates, right? It's a horrible idea for a self-funded startup. Now, VCs love these concepts because those are the ones that scale and potentially can scale to billions of dollars. The 0.5% of them that actually have managed to scale, because for the VCs, you're nothing more than just another deal. For you, the founder, it's your life. So you should avoid those as much as you can. If you want to self-fund your company, control your future, control your destiny, and have 90% plus of the company at exit, starting a marketplace is a horrible idea. Also, events. Stay away from the event industry. Horrible industry to be in as a self-funded startup. Actually, even as a VC-backed startup, it's just a horrible industry for startups. And I know that from personal experience. My previous failed startup was in the event industry. We had built a very creative database where we could help people decide which conferences to exhibit at based on their target client accounts. Sounds like a great idea, right? But actually, it's very tough to implement because most event organizers are very old school. Most of them are extremely cheap. They don't want to pay for anything. They don't get the power of data. And events in general is very asynchronous and is very infrequent. So, the big events happen once or twice per year and that's it. And then you're kind of stuck trying to find the next event organizers who care enough to pay you so that you can get your product going, whatever that is in the event industry. So that's another industry you should never touch. Now let's talk about industries that are great for self-funded startups. Focus on industries that are considered boring. Focus on industries like invoicing that are continuous, they're needed all the time. And as I mentioned, invoicing is one of them. Another one is maybe potentially doing a kind of a tech platform that helps people invoice better and faster. Something around analytics. That data aspect is always big now. I think people analyzing the P&L, that's a big thing. Also, HR, human resources, managing the human resources, that those are also great because they need them continuously. Let me see what else I have here. Reporting taxes. What I'm currently doing with ExecWeb is actually also great, where you actually generate relevant potential buyers for sellers, which is contrary to the VC advice you're gonna get. All VCs say never ever be in the business of generating quote unquote leads for companies and ask them to pay for those because you're going to run out of money, and that's absolutely not true. That's exactly what you should do if you want to have a self-funded startup, because quite honestly nobody gives a shit about anything else except getting in front of relevant customers. That's it. And if you can get that to any kind of potential seller, they will pay you a lot of money for it, which is why ExecWeb is an extremely profitable free cash flow company that I'm confident eventually is going to be a multi-million-dollar company, right? There is no question about it. It's a massive industry that we operate in, the cybersecurity industry, and what we're doing is of extreme value to our customers, essentially getting cybersecurity vendors in front of relevant to them chief information security officers and vice versa. So another big advice I have here is don't start companies that sell to consumers. And the famous B2C, which is again another thing that VCs like, but it's a horrible idea because B2C businesses, the consumer market is ruthless. People in general are extremely cheap. And this has been proven by very big companies like Gmail, when many years ago Gmail tried to charge, and that's Gmail we're talking about, probably the best email ever created, right? By one of the iconic companies. By Google, they tried to charge $5 for email and it backfired. Nobody wanted to pay it. $5 per month. It's ridiculous. It's $5, not even a coffee, not even a Starbucks coffee, and yet everybody pushed back. Why would they pay for email? So people are immensely cheap on an individual basis in the retail. So that's why if you want to bootstrap a company, you want to self-fund it, selling to consumers, it's always a bad idea. Never ever create a B2C company if you want self-fund. You must sell to enterprises. So which businesses now are good for self-funded companies? And that's not as obvious, but I mentioned some markets before and industries that are good, but you should, first of all, as a general principle, as I mentioned previously, focus on selling to businesses, not to consumers, individual consumers. And then the next logical question is, what do businesses care about? They care about financials, they care about clients, they care about acquiring clients, generating leads, managing those clients, supporting those clients. So you should create businesses around these 5, 6 parameters. Can you create a platform that helps enterprises better generate leads or generate faster or better? Those two words are critical. You gotta help companies generate faster or better leads. There is a huge market for that because everybody wants better and more leads and higher quality leads. So if you can find a way to do that, you can make a lot of money as a self-funded business. Another one is, can you help companies provide better support to their current customers, whether it's through a tech platform, and there are many businesses out there that are doing that. There is absolutely self-funded businesses that have done extremely well into the 10, 20, $30 million enterprise value, that what they do is support customers. Another one is obviously sales. Can you help salespeople close better, close faster, have a higher conversion rate from a meeting to an actual closed client? Whether that's through providing analytics, whether that's through some other way of helping salespeople better sell the leads that come to them from the marketing department. And you always have to be clear on who you're selling to, whether it's the sales department, whether it's the marketing department. You gotta know who your ideal client profile is as a self-funded startup, otherwise you're not going to succeed. But that's for another video. Now let's focus on other ideas that I think are great for self-funded businesses. Never ever reinvent the wheel. Look out there of what's already built and just make it a little bit better, a little bit faster. Whether it's helping, again, companies generate leads, close more sales, because ultimately that's why businesses exist, or better manage their clients, whether it's through customer support or some other way. So another very interesting and applicable way to bootstrap a business is by focusing on the financials and helping chief financial officers better manage their financials. Maybe create an analytics platform that can search through the different P&Ls, profit and loss statements, and generate insights for the chief financial officers. They'll pay a lot for that per month and yearly. As a self-funded business, you have to have two elements when it comes to pricing. You have to have annual prices in place so that people pay upfront for a service that you're going to deliver over time, because otherwise it's almost impossible to self-fund. Because you obviously, as I mentioned previously, cash is king, so you need the cash up front. And also, I think the other very important element here for you to know is that you gotta be in a business that has either recurring revenues, so people pay you monthly or yearly, or reoccurring revenue, which is they come to you once, they experience the value prop that you have to offer, regardless of what that is, and then they come back. So it doesn't have to be recurring, but it has to be reoccurring. So it has to keep on coming back, even if it's not on a very frequent basis. That's the case with ExecWeb, for example. We have many clients who have come back and back for new campaigns. Massive companies like Facebook, like Google, or the ad marketing companies, that's how they work when you think about it. Facebook is not recurring revenue. You go on Facebook, you advertise, you get results, then you go back. If you're happy with the results, and you advertise more. That's what reoccurring means. And recurring, the other option is more of the typical SaaS services as a business kind of model where every month you just charge, whether it's per user, per seat, or per enterprise, a certain dollar amount, where usually they have access to an online platform and they can utilize it to get the value that you have promised that your platform is going to deliver for them. So I hope this video was useful on kind of ideas that you should consider if you want to self-fund a company. And you have to understand those ideas are very different from the ones that the VCs and all this media bias is going to push out there, because actually the boring old school ideas are the ones that you want to focus on as a self-funded founder, not the ones that VCs are pushing out there, like marketplaces and these kind of only SaaS platforms that charge $49 per user, because for that you do need to have the VC funding. And because until $49 per user, until you get the company going, until you get enough users so that you can generate enough revenue to cover your expenses, you do need to get a few $1 million to get going. And that's not a good business model for self-funded startup founder. But VCs don't care. VCs want to make money out of startup founders, which is why they always push those kind of narratives out there. And they're absolutely categorically wrong for self-funded startup founders. If you want to control your destiny, if you want to control your company, you have to self-fund. in almost all other cases, you're going to lose control of the company or you're going to be a minority shareholder. And in both cases, obviously, somebody else calls the shot and it's not your company, although you might be called the founder and the CEO. That's something it's an absolute non-starter for me. And my channel is for people who really want to bootstrap and self-fund. So if you like this video, please subscribe so that you can get more of these videos, and hopefully you can learn a lot. As you can see, I'm not selling anything. I hope you find it valuable, and I'm gonna build more and more of these videos so that I can take my knowledge over the last 7 to 10 years as a self-funded startup founder and relate it to the people who want to listen to it and who are interested in it. I'm not an expert, but nobody is in my view, and I don't charge anything for this, so I hope you appreciate it. And I'm going to come up with more and more videos every week so that I can take you through the journey that I had to go through over the last 7 years to finally build a very successful, profitable, free cash flow, positive company with satisfied clients, and where I control almost the entire company. And I control my destiny and the destiny of my clients and the destiny of my colleagues. And I'm going to talk later about recruitment and everything else. So thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some great ideas on what a self-funded good startup means from an idea standpoint. And hopefully you can think of some ideas that you might be passionate about. But even if you're not passionate, just be interested in it so that the business itself can make you passionate, just as you see it scale and grow. Never ever follow the very famous suggestion out there, follow your passion. I think it's a horrible, horrible advice. You Most passions don't turn out to be good businesses. And once you work on your passion becomes work, and then usually it kind of goes away. So don't follow your passion, follow your effort, and follow what the market needs, not what you want and what you feel passionate about. I'm 5'7", for example, so I might be passionate about basketball, but let's face it, I will never make it to the NBA. Very highly, highly unlikely, right? Just because there are constraints that go beyond my effort. No matter how much I try, it's almost impossible for me to get to the NBA. Just to give you an example, I'm not saying I'm that passionate about basketball, but that's a very good example where passion and success go in opposite directions. So that's why I'm focusing on my effort and my business. And I'm passionate about progress and passionate about the business itself rather than any specific ideas. Having said that, the idea has to be applicable, and you have to build something that the market wants, not that you want. Now, some cases both might align. What you want might be what the market wants, but in many cases what you want is not what most of the people want. In which case your business will fail, regardless whether it's your passion or not. So that's it for now. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Take care.